Thea Hopkins, thank you so much for joining us today to talk about your passion for music and all of the incredible things that you've done.
Oh, thank you, Natalie. It's a pleasure to be here today.
So tell me about your background as a musical artist. When did you first discover your passion for music?
Well, in a certain way, I discovered it when I was a child. My mother had a large music collection, album collection, a lot of Broadway musicals and opera. And actually, the first piece of music that I fell in love with was the aria from Carmen at the age of 7.
Wow.
And I played over and over again. And I said to her, Mom, I really want to learn what they're saying, in English. So she actually got me the translation. I loved that. I loved the Broadway musicals. My favorite musical was Carousel. Mm-hmm. It still is. And so when that came to the area, I said, Mom, I really want to go see that. And so she took me to see it. It was not something that was really, I was thinking in terms of a path. It was more, this is kind of what you should have in your life to kind of, understand the magic and power of arts, but nothing to necessarily focus on for a career because there can be so much instability and everything. I actually started writing poetry when I was 9 years old, and so I love the power of words very early on, and I was an avid reader. I mean, I read everything as a little kid. My focus was, and my plan was to become a therapist. Wow. And I thought I had it all mapped out, and you think this is exactly what's going to happen, but then life happens. And what happened was I lost my best friend, Kathy. It absolutely just destroyed me because she was like a sister to me. And so I had to find a way to try to express my grief, and a neighbor of mine had a guitar, and I just happened to pick it up and start playing, and she said, well, you can borrow this for a while, but she understood what I was going through. And so I started writing, and my first song that I wrote was about her. Mm-hmm. It was a song I wrote called Fascinated. And so that began the journey, and I realized that it was really answering a need I had to express myself beyond that moment. That was really what started me on the path, was understanding the importance of, in a more personal way, the power of music and the need to express powerful emotions and how they connect with everybody, really.
Right. Mm-hmm. And to that point, you are very connected to your Indigenous Native American culture. You're a member of the Aquinnah Wampanoag Tribe.
Yes. And,
tell us a little bit about that connection to your culture and how it inspires your music.
Well, basically, it's a path, once again, this is a path from the way I was raised as a child and understanding of how colonization affected me. My grandfather was sent to the Carlisle residential school. Wow. And that was the first formal boarding school for Native Americans in this country. It was founded by General Pratt, whose motto was "Kill the Indian, save the man." And so every child that went there was stripped of their sense of cultural affiliation. Their hair was cut. They were punished for speaking their languages. So this is something that you navigate through, and you're taught as a child how to navigate through the reality of this history. And so I would say particularly over the last 10 years for myself, I've been very fortunate in connecting with Native arts community, not only my Aquinnah Wampanoag family, which was always there, but also the larger international Indigenous community in Canada. And I was in Australia last year, throughout the United States here. I was in New Mexico in August at a Native American gathering. So, all of these things they're all ongoing, and it's a very active communities.
The Aquinnah Wampanoag Tribe is such a huge part of our history here in Massachusetts, and we're starting off November, right, which is Native American Heritage Month, mm-hmm, with your performance in this fabulous conversation. Why is it important that we continue to talk about this history, about the Carlisle School and other devastations?
Well, I think it's important because it's important. It's not just quote-unquote Native American history. I don't believe it's something that should be put in a box and kind of set aside and then maybe discussed, occasionally.
Right.
It's foundational to the creation of the United States. And Wampanoags are the tribe that helped the Pilgrims to survive those first few difficult winters they were here when they arrived on the shores of Turtle Island. I think it's very important to recognize the history, in its entirety.
And with recognizing that history, you will be at Indigenous Peoples Celebration on December 1st in Brookline. Tell us about that event. Mm-hmm. And can you speak a little bit more to why events like this are important? You mentioned that you've been to a few different, in just the past couple months, Native
Yes.
American gatherings. Why is it so important to have these gatherings and these events?
This performance and event at Brookline Library on December 1st, it's actually organized by an organization called White Snake Project, which is an activist opera company, and they just began this project, Indigenous Musical Storytelling Project, and they invited me to, they're highlighting my music on December 1st, and they're really invested in, supporting Native American artists. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about your music.
Oh, sure, Natalie.
If you can speak to that. A few of your songs are very politically powered, including, The Ghost of Emmett Till, which mm-hmm. you've won awards for, and it's a very, very powerful mm-hmm. piece of music. Which is obviously about the tragic murder of Emmett Till in 1955. What is that songwriting process like? And how do you connect emotionally with these stories to bring the songs to life?
Well, I think of myself in certain ways as a music journalist who uses, words and music to tell a story and to bring the listener in, the basics of music, of journalism: who, what, where, when, and why.
Right, of course.
And so, what I try to do is create a sense of empathy and connection for a listener who might not be acquainted with some of these topics. Right. And so, my goal is always to find a balance between the words and the music to make sure that they're complementing each other so that the message will be received.
Do you have any other exciting events or projects coming up that you want to let viewers know about?
Sure. I have a new album coming out in January, and
awesome.
Very excited about that. I am also involved in working on a play, New York Stage and Film Fund. I was an artist resident there in 2024, and they invited me back in 2025 to continue work on it. It's called An American Ghost Dance. It's based upon my mother's experience as a young Native woman. And so there are a number of other projects I'm working on. I'm trying to keep things organized on the calendar right now.
I'm sure viewers are dying to know more about what's on the calendar, what's on the docket. Where can they learn more about you and your music?
TheaHopkins.com.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm super excited about your performance. Can you tell us about the song that you're going to be performing today?
Yes, it's a song I wrote. It's called Tamson Weeks. It's a song I wrote about my great-great-aunt. She was an Aquinnah Wampanoag medicine woman, and she was known throughout New England for her remedies and for her cures. Folks would come over from the mainland to seek her out, and so she's written about in history books, New England history books, yes.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much, Thea, for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Natalie.
And speaking to these important topics and performing for our viewers today.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Awesome.
Tamson Weeks walks alone, gathering leaves and twigs. She'll draw them in the sun as the daybirds sing. Tamson Weeks, fevered brows, broken hearts. Tamson Weeks knows what you need when life falls apart. Have a sip of her brew, go steal is called. Sweet fern, milk, not quite burned. It'll turn your troubles round. Tamson Weeks, fevered brows, broken hearts. Tamson Weeks, no is what you need when life falls apart. Wampanoag who knows the earth and its healing ways. Secrets passed down to her from Indian yesterdays. Tamson Weeks, fevered brows, broken hearts. Tamson Weeks, no is what you need when life falls apart. No is what you need when life falls apart. No is what you need when life falls apart.